Earlier this week, we did the story about Trump biographer Michael Wolff doing reporting on the origins of Trump and Melania's relationship, and it involved Jeffrey Epstein. Now that reporting is basically nowhere on the internet anymore because there was some intervention. The Daily Beast ended up deleting it because a lawyer for Melania Trump reached out. An attorney on behalf of the First Lady apparently challenged the way that they framed the story, and an editor's note was published in place of the article. Not even like in addition to the article's done. It says, the only thing you can see now, editor's note. After the story was published, the Beast received a letter from First Lady Melania Trump's attorney challenging the headline and framing of the article. After reviewing the matter, the Beast has taken down the article and apologizes for any confusion or misunderstanding. And I don't entirely understand what the issue is. Like, I get that the Daily Beast does not want to be sued for $10 billion or whatever. But like, all the reporting really was Michael Wolff, a guy who on the one hand knows Trump really well, has been in his orbit for a really long time. On the other hand, has occasionally gone likely beyond what he knows for sure. So when he says something, it's never a lock that it's true. But all he basically said is that she was introduced by a model agent that both Trump and Epstein were involved in. She was in that social circle, which is indisputable. I mean, they're at many events and parties together. So I don't entirely understand what the issue with the story was. Was it that like, no, it wasn't the model agent that introduced them? They're still all friends, they're still all partying together. The thing about it that I think is fascinating though is, one, again, it's the super fast willingness of the Trump family to beat down and beat into submission the media being willing to do it. And then also that like Melania, who has been, as far as I can remember, and feel free, Brett, to correct me, she has not uttered a peep about this Epstein stuff. As all of this has been developing, she's had nothing to say. I don't see her with Donald Trump. As soon as her name is brought up, they leap into action and they crush that thing. So they're around, they can get involved if they want to, but it wasn't until it was specifically about her that they did, which I think is interesting. Now maybe, look, in the end, maybe Michael Wolff was wrong. And maybe they didn't meet through that means. I mean, you cannot dispute that they were in the same social circle. Donald Trump was best friends with Epstein for years after he began dating Melania. But regardless, Brett, what do you make of this?
This is just like a little microcosm of what's so annoying about Trump, right? So like, I've seen 100 photos of him and Jeffrey Epstein partying together. And they're gonna try to make this story about how like these guys are lying about Trump and Epstein. When the actual clarification made by the editor is, quote, the story was, a spokesperson said from the Daily Beast, the story was deleted because it did not reflect the comments made by Michael Wolff and Joanna Coles on the Daily Beast podcast. So the articleization, it seems, according to this Pointer article, and they do assess veracity, is that it was not in line with Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff will say a lot of stuff, has kind of got this reputation, as John, you mentioned earlier, for kind of doing the most salacious stuff. The Daily Beast. But here's my point about it, is Trump does worse than this all the time. Obama is a godless communist murderer, traitor, born in Kenya, according to Donald Trump. But I can't sue him because he's doing it in his presidential capacity.
Yeah.
It is asymmetrical. Also, Fox News and Donald Trump are wearing the same pants most of the time. They're wearing the same pair of pants and walking face to face. Like, and they have to walk backwards and Donald Trump is walking forwards and they're doing the two-legged, three-legged race thing. You know what I mean? Like really close. There's no dance space between the two of them as they cha-cha. Like that's what's so disgusting. And we need to point it out. It's horrible. And Donald Trump does worse than a unclear, like an unclear, like a headline that isn't wildly representative of a story, because someone else writes the headlines besides the person who wrote the article, which is based on the novel Push by Satire. I mean, by Sapphire. I mean the podcast interview that they did. Like it's that far derivative. And we're all the way down the line, and they're trying to make this story about this. And this is what everyone needs to figure out. Donald Trump on the Epstein thing has tried every single thing he can imagine, and he makes up a lot of BS, so he's a liar and he's imagining a lot to try to get away with this. And he hasn't found anything in 100 and however many days since he's been in office after promising he would declassify the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Everything he's doing along the time is a please, please, please let me get away with it gambit. And we can't let him please, please, please get away with it.
Yeah, he has not come up with a persuasive response to the question, why haven't you released the files yet? I don't care. I don't want to hear about anything else. Release the files. It's super suspicious.